Now for the Pella play-by-play, here's Jeff Levering.
Thanks, Gina Della from Pella. What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Every day is beautiful because Pella installs year-round during all seasons.
It's so hard to guess that next pitch. The customizations seem endless.
And it doesn't have to be super expensive. Pella has a product line for every budget.
And if it is time for a major upgrade, rest easy by scoring no interest and no payments for up to 2 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply on 6/30/2025.
We Energies want you to keep this important safety message in mind. Before you start digging, planting, or landscaping on your property, call 811 to have underground utilities marked. Calling 811 at least 3 business days before you plan to dig will help you know what's below and can prevent a hazardous situation. Our representatives will mark the underground utilities on your property for free. So remember, stay safe and call before you dig.
We Energies. People you can trust. Energy you can depend on.
Josh Minan, attorney at Cannon & Tumphy.
Being a counselor at law means being a trusted advisor in our clients' time of need. When I meet people that have been hurt in an accident, there's usually a lot going on in their lives. Our role at Cannon & Dunphy is to take a lot of that off their plate and handle it for them. Not only do we offer legal expertise, but also heartfelt support to help those who've been wrongfully injured. That's what we do.
Covering the Crew all season long on WTMJ. It's Brewers Extra Innings. Now live from American Family Field. Here's your host, Dominic Cotroneo.
All that for that. Box score doesn't lie, but I tell you what, an 8-5 final score does not begin to tell the story of this loss to the Cardinals. So St. Louis snaps its 6-game losing streak. They win today 8-5 over the Brewers. I'm Dom Cotroneo. So the Brewers try to win the series tomorrow on Father's Day. As you know how the Brewers are on holidays. They always tend to find a way to have some fun. Today was nearly an epic day. It did not end the way the Brewers wanted, but they had opportunities. So let's give you the highlight recap from this one, an 8-5 loss.
Ready for this?
Out of here!
This?
Brought it back! Ho, ho, ho!
And this?
It is gone!
Time for tonight's highlights.
Jose Quintana going against his former team, and he's seen plenty of the Cardinals over the years when he was a Cub. And Andre Pallante, a ground ball strikeout specialist for the Redbirds, and he was good today. Quintana not the same. 1 run scored in the first inning on an RBI single from Alec Burleson. The Brewers had a chance to respond in the bottom of the first thanks to a leadoff walk and a stolen base, but Frelick was left stranded, so it's 1-0 Cardinals. It would hold that way into the third inning. Another leadoff single, this time from Ivan Herrera, erased with some nice defense.
3 straight now against St. Louis, winning the opening 2 games of this series as well. The 1-2 is a chopper over the head of Quintana. Picked up by Ortiz at second, steps on the bag, and throws to first in time. Wow.
It was very smooth. It was a nice play from Joey O, and that kept it 1-0 at the time. But the problem was Pallante didn't allow a hit in the first 10 batters he faced, just that leadoff walk to Sal. Churio, he fixed that to lead off the fourth.
0-2 pitch. He is a liner into right center field. That's going to get down, plug the gap. It'll roll all the way to the wall. Jackson off to the races. He's not stopping at second. On his way to third. Here's the relay. Not in time. Jackson Churio with a leadoff triple here in the fourth.
And then the Brewers could not muster up a lot of contact against Pallante, so Churio took matters into his own hands.
And the 3-1. Yelich. Ooh, took a called strike. It gets away from Pajes. Here comes Churio down the line, and he slides under the tag of Pallante. Brewers on the board. It's 4-1 St. Louis.
It didn't get very far away, and that would make it the Brewers on the board because on the top of that frame, 2-run single from Victor Scott, a bad error by Durbin will break all of that down from the fourth inning. So the Brewers are on the board. It's a 4-1 game, but in the fifth, a 3-run shot from Nolan Gorman with some extracurriculars in there. We'll explain all of that into the program with Wilson Contreras once again in the middle of it against the Brewers. But it's 7-1 Cardinals. The Brewers, though, in the bottom half of the fifth, avoid the shutdown inning. A base hit and a walk and a sac bunt. Sal had a couple ducks on the pond.
Pallante, high set, delivers. Line down the third base line, fair. 1 run scores. Durbin is going to score. Frelick is headed towards second base. He is standing with a 2-run double.
Jeff Levering on the call. And then Chourio again, a chance to add on to this comeback effort.
1-2 pitch. Lined into the gap in left center field. That is down for a hit. Frelick will score. Chourio delivers an RBI single at 7-4.
All right, you're feeling like you're in it. You're in this race. And the Brewers then would chase Palante and continue to have opportunities. Meanwhile, with Quintana out of the game, DL Hall kept zeros on the board. Brewers had 2-out rally in the 6th, left them stranded. Brewers had a rally in the 7th with a leadoff double from Sal, a walk by Contreras, but they were left stranded. In the 8th, it was their best opportunity. They load the bases with 1 out. Top of the order coming up against Phil Maton. He gets Frelick to strike out, but now it's up to Chourio. A chance. Down by 3. What a story it could be.
Swing and a miss. And Chourio strikes out to strand the bases loaded. They had Frelick and Chourio with the bases loaded and 1 out, and both strike out against Phil Maton.
And that was the story of the game. The Contreras brothers both hit a home run in the 9th inning to keep it as a 3-run ball game, which was the final score. 8-5, the final today. Brewers fall to the Cardinals. We'll break it down with Craig Kashan next on 620 WTMJ.
Attention, car buyers. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, buy it now from the International Autos Group and save thousands. Current in-stock vehicles are unaffected by tariffs. Drive into summer in a beautiful new BMW, Audi, Mercedes-Benz, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, or Hyundai and avoid upcoming tariffs. Buy now and save up to $10,000. The International Autos Group, where our ordinary needs to be extraordinary. Visit iamilwaukee.com. Savings off MSRP on select new models.
It's not summer in Milwaukee without baseball and live music. Get the best of both when the Brewers take on the Rockies, featuring a post-game concert by Nelly June 27th and a Pat Murphy bobble on the 28th. Get your tickets at Brewers.com.
You know the voice.
Fly ball, right field, out of here!
You know the iconic calls.
Fly ball, deep right! Back to back!
You know he's our Brewers 360 guest on Wisconsin's Morning News every Wednesday at 8:45. It's Brewers broadcaster Jeff Levering. Brewers 360 is sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited and Big Fish Contracting.
Hey, John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Their mission is to transform the culture of care. They specialize in caring for those with early to late stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia problems, cognitive decline. It's their specialty. They're great at it. And they also offer early memory loss classes. They can help your loved one with locations throughout our state, many here in Southeast Wisconsin. I've been in their facilities. They're top-notch. It's kindness at the core. It's compassion and empathy at Azura. Wisconsin-based and family-owned. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Brewers fall today 8-5. They will try to win the series and close out the homestand in style tomorrow. Brewers Extra Innings is brought to you by Fifth Third Bank. Looking for a banking partner that truly understands your business needs? Look no further than Fifth Third Bank. With a local team right here in Milwaukee, they know how to hit out of the park every time. For 15 years, they've been serving our community with industry-specific expertise and local decision-making that all helps your business thrive. Experience the unique commercial banking value only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, member FDIC. You know, before we talk about the game with Craig Kashan, I'm Dom Cotroneo. Craig, I think we need to just kind of lay it all out there of how this was handled today with Willson Contreras. So let's backtrack here and give the lay of the land of what actually went down, what the Brewers were mad about. We pick things up in the 3rd inning. Caleb Durbin hits a slow roller to 3rd, but it gets to Arenado relatively quickly. Arenado is the best defender maybe to ever live. Durbin's going to be out. Durbin's running hard up the line. Arenado throws him out. And some awkward misstep. It wasn't like the throw led him into the base path or what. Willson Contreras, the first baseman, takes a weird, awkward step backward into the baseline, probably not realizing Durbin is running a hard 90 on a ground ball right to Arenado. They collide, violent collision, everyone's okay. Brewers dugout starts chirping. Fast forward then to the 4th inning. Rhys Hoskins is hit by a pitch inadvertently. I don't think that was any sort of deal given there was a nobody on and 2 outs and an 0-1 count on Rhys. He gets hit by a pitch. He's mad about it, and everyone moves on. The Brewers didn't see Willson Contreras at the plate again until the 5th inning, with it still a 4-1 ball game. With 1 out and nobody on, the first pitch was down and away on a changeup, ball 1. Then a ball got loose, from Jose Quintana and hits Wilson Contreras. But Wilson picks up the baseball as it rolled up the third base line, hands the ball to Jose, runs up the line. Both teams were issued warnings, and that was the end of that. So, I want to make this very clear, Craig. I thought this was handled perfectly. The players handled it. The umpires let the players handle it. Warnings were issued, and it never escalated further. The exact opposite of what we saw last April in the Jose Siri, Freddie Peralta, Abner Uribe situation. I thought this was handled extremely well by Vic Carapazza and company.
And clearly it's a rarity. It's almost like this was a throwback game in modern style because, yes, the players were allowed to handle it, but the way they handled it is not something I think our modern day viewers or listeners are used to seeing, because it's that controversy has been taken out of this game to such an extreme here right now. And I thought it was great. I'm a throwback. I've watched this game my whole life, and that spans a long time, Don, without giving numbers away. But it was very good. It was handled well. And when you talk to guys that have been around a long time in this business and still wear the uniform and are still in the dugout and are still on that field in whatever capacity, I think that's why we saw smiles on the faces of the two managers after this whole thing was over, after the warnings were issued. They both knew they weren't going to do anything anymore. They both let the players handle it and do their things. And I thought it was entertaining in a way. It just was. And I don't know how else to describe that. That's how baseball was born, with the unwritten rule. So I think it was great. It was great.
Again, and that's why, you're not going to get comment probably from Murph or Ollie on this, but the point is, Reese took exception. He got hit by a pitch. Now, again, I don't think that one was on purpose. I'll go ahead and say it for Quintana. The one hitting Wilson was on purpose, given he was 1 for 22 coming into this game against Wilson Contreras in his career. Quintana owns him. He doesn't let one slip against Wilson Contreras, given the dominance. And they were former teammates. That's one of those things that, with William behind the plate, it adds another layer to it. But you hit him in the side. You didn't go elevated. You didn't try to escalate it any further than what it was. No one took exception to it. Everybody within the dugout to dugout understood what was about to happen. And maybe to the 40,000 fans, it may seem like, yeah, let's go, brawl. Yeah, no, cool. It's done. There's nothing to escalate. No one's going to miss a game now. Okay, it's done. Let's go play ball. And I think it's just refreshing to see the players get the chance to do what previous generations were allowed to do and understand that this game is meant to be played by the guys on the field and not decided by, appealing suspensions and that sort of thing. And at the center of all of this, Craig, I think one of the things that we've talked about before, and I'm not trying to call out Caleb Durbin here, I love hustle, and if you're taking exception to hustle, this is the wrong sport for you, and if Cardinals fans are mad that Durbin was running a hard 90 and collided with Wilson there, I remind you about David Eckstein. Shut up. David Eckstein was one of my favorite players growing up because he ran hard 90s every time. Maybe it's a little bit of, false hustle. I don't think it's false at all to try to run out a ground ball, hit the Nolan Arenado, but hey, Durbin's a rookie. He's learning in the show.
Well, and it turned out to be, it wasn't, a sure out either. It turned out to be a close play, a closer play than probably it should have even been. But you got to give credit to Durbin and his hustle there for sure. I think the only thing I'll say finally on this with Wilson Contreras, and it's not me pointing fingers, look what you did to our team. I just find it kind of amazing, and we discussed this a little bit on our TV post-game side here tonight, about if there's a collision that he didn't expect, he certainly didn't react to it. Let's just put it that way. That thing I thought was pretty interesting. He was like, oh, well, what are you doing all over my back, man? Get away from me. This is my spot. So I thought that was kind of an interesting scenario. So, whatever. It was, here's the fun thing too, Don. We're both speculating on what each team and what each player and through all of that, was really doing or really not doing. And that's what makes this game fun and partially unique from all others, too.
Yeah, I think this is one of those things that really makes baseball charming and different. And again, I also got to give credit to this umpiring crew because they handled it perfectly. Ollie was chirping about the strike zone early in the game, and Vic Carapazza let him talk it out, and they were fine the rest of the game. It's just refreshing to see good umpiring, man. That's it. It's just really, really refreshing because we need to call it out when we see it because the players got the chance to settle it themselves. Nobody got ejected. Nobody's mad still, and it's over. Whereas last year, with the failure of that game that we're all thinking of with Chris Guccione, it's like, all right, you learn your lesson and you move on. But I don't want to make the whole postgame out of this because, hey, Jose wasn't himself. We're going to talk about the game now. Now we got that out of the way. One last note on this, Craig. You'll like this. Reporters in the clubhouse a moment ago. Rhys Hoskins said he and Wilson Contreras, they were just discussing about Wilson playing first base during their exchange in the third inning today. That's all. Just leaving it between the guys. That's exactly how this is supposed to be handled.
We all saw that. We can all read lips. Exactly. That's what they were talking about. We got that.
Exactly. Yeah, well done. Well done by all parties. Love it. Let's talk about the game now. That's coming up next. 855-616-1620, 855-616-1620 on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
There's an amazing supper club in Wisconsin Dells, Ish Nala, nestled among the pines and perched above the sandstone bluffs of Mirror Lake. The beauty, the history, the service, the food, the fun. Hi, this is Bob Prosser, owner of Ishnala Supper Club in Wisconsin Dells. I've been a part of Ishnala since 1973, and I am so proud to continue the tradition that began in 1953. Why not enjoy a brandy old-fashioned in one of our bars, each with a spectacular view overlooking Mirror Lake, or just relax before or after dinner on one of our outdoor decks. Our Ishnala chefs have prepared your favorites: 24-ounce ribeye, cold water lobster tails, North Atlantic salmon, and of course, Ishnala's roast duck. Thank you for making Ishnala Wisconsin's favorite supper club, where the only thing we overlook is Mirror Lake. I'm Bob Prosser, and I want to serve you.
Don't think twice. Call Geis. For 70 years, Geis has been the trusted garage authority in Wisconsin. WTMJ's Greg Matzik here. Don't let a busted garage door get you down. Call my friends at Geis today. With brands like CHI and LiftMaster, they have doors for every budget and will even build custom designs to meet your exact needs. For swift and reliable garage repair solutions, go to GeisDoors.com. You can also visit their amazing showroom in Brookfield and their custom design room.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
All right, so part of all of this chaos, the Brewers were down 7-1. And Jose Quintana did not have his best stuff today. The Brewers fall by an 8-5 final today, so that doesn't tell you the whole story of this contest. But Quintana today had 3 walks. He also hit a batter. He only had 4 strikeouts, which he's not a strikeout guy, but of all the hits he allowed, all but one of them was a single, the home run by Nolan Gorman in the last batter that he was going to face, the left-on-left battle. So when you look at Jose Quintana, Craig Kashan, I'm Dom Cotroneo. Quintana, since returning from the injured list, has not been the Quintana we saw earlier in the year before this shoulder impingement, fatigue, whatever you want to call it. Now, the season numbers still look fine, but for Quintana, he's now got 14 in the third innings, 8 earned runs, 10 total runs because of that big misplay by Caleb Durbin. It's a 5 ERA since coming off the injured list. On a scale of 1 to 10, Craig Kashan, do you have a concern meter for Jose Quintana with the way he's looked since returning to the active roster?
5 right now.
Oh, there we go. Now we got Craig back. So sorry, we caught your number at the very end there.
Yeah, I mean, I do, and I think it's a mid-level concern because I just don't feel like he's pitching like he should be. He just doesn't look physically sharp when he's out on the mound. It didn't today, I didn't think. So, yeah, I'd say there's a little bit of level concern there, and I quite frankly don't know how they find out and measure this stuff, in between starts and what they look for while he's out on the mound specifically. But I think I do know when guys seem off, and I thought today he seemed off really from the opening. I mean, the first three batters reached in this one, even though Churio had a great throw for an out. on Herrera that certainly helped him out of that first inning. Only one run given up, but there was just so much traffic on the bases here today. And, yes, the air did not help him, but I don't know if it would have saved him in this one either.
And furthermore, for Quintana, I mean, when he's giving up contact, that's no big deal because he is a ground ball pitcher. The ball gets put in play a lot against him, but it's the walks. Walks are always going to hurt a ground ball pitcher because you're giving free passes. You're not letting your defense make plays behind you. Since coming off the injured list now, he has 11 strikeouts, 10 walks, and a hit batter, and only one double play turn. So, I mean, there's also base runners behind him, right? We just mentioned 10 walks and a hit batter and also 17 more hits, but only one double play. That's my concern, is that there are opportunities for double plays, and he's not getting the ground ball that he needs. And the Brewers have sort of manipulated their rotation in order to give him extra days of rest. He's pitched on 6 days rest in each of the last 2 starts, and it's supposed to get tighter. It's supposed to go down to 5 days rest, 4 days rest as a regular rotation. So this is something I'm more of like a 6.57 because Quintana is not going anywhere. The Brewers need him in order to be successful for the rest of the season.
Yeah, they really do. And, with the traffic you're talking about too, Dom, and not getting the double plays. They got one today. You can't always count on that, though, either. And the more base runners that are on, like we always say it, when the Brewers are able to put pressure on pitchers and put pressure on the defense, it puts added pressure. And sometimes, pressure this Brewer defense isn't used to necessarily always seeing either. And they've got, Durbin's young over there. I mean, if you just look at that one error, that did cost the Brewers in Quintana a lot in that situation, as it turned out. But again, he's over at third, deep down the line there, and he's got to make a play. There's 2 guys on already, and that didn't happen. So you don't want to pitch where your defense is absolutely perfect behind you. There's always got to be room for error or room for all those singles that St. Louis got today. Everything got in between defenders out there. So it just wasn't sharp, and it didn't look great. That's for sure.
Yeah, the play you're referencing, Jordan Walker on a 2-0 pitch hit a chopper to deep third that Durbin rushed the throw to second base. They weren't going to turn 2 on that play. It's one of those things that Walker's quick, Durbin's clock is still developing, but you need to be sure of one in that scenario, given the first 2 batters had reached in that frame. If you get one, you get men on the corners and 1 out for 8-9 in the order. You've got an opportunity to still get out of that frame, but instead it becomes, as Pat Murphy put it, a 3-run error after Scott hit a 2-run single there in the 4th to make it. His 1 run scored on the play itself, then 2 more runs scored on the Scott single with 1 out there in the 4th inning. I mean, that changes the whole complexion of the game. If you're down 1-0, or even if you only allow 1 run to score in that frame to be 2-0, you're in this game. And then Quintana, obviously the big blow, was in the middle of all those extracurriculars, walking Nolan Arenado, then giving up a left-on-left homer to Nolan Gorman. Those are 2 things that Durbin needs to get an out, and you got to get the lefty out if you're Quintana being the last batter you're going to face.
Yeah, that home run, though, he gave up against Gorman, that to me was such a weird inning because that's the inning he hit Contreras. And then then Arenado walks. So now, okay, there's 1 out, but there's 2 on. And we saw Murph tell him, this is your last batter. I mean, you got that signal from the dugout. It's lefty versus lefty. And it was almost like a curse by then, that whole scenario, the way things were adding up in that 5th inning. Good luck getting this guy out, and he absolutely crushed that 3-run home run.
So, Mitch, I see you on the line. I'll get to you in a moment. I just got to refer back, because we're getting some news now from the reporters. This situation with Wilson Contreras, I take everything back I just said in the first segment. Wilson is running his mouth. This is a quote from Jeff Jones. He covers the Cardinals from the Belleville News there in Missouri. But this is from Wilson Contreras. One of their players, he liked to talk from far away, but then when he got in my face, he didn't say bleep. This is Wilson. I was looking for more than that. He seems to be tougher. He's a bleeping bleep. I'm not going to name any names. He knows who he is. Later, when asked about Hoskins by name, Contreras answered, he didn't say anything to me. I was expecting him to say something, but he was looking away already. Look at my face. Just say it to my face, whatever you want from the dugout. And then he was looking away. Just get off the base. I was like, push me. He didn't, so it was good. Yeah, I mean, he's being heel. He understands. But now he's going to put his brother in harm's way here. I can't believe I have to talk about this again. Can this dude learn a lesson? Can this dude learn a lesson? It was over, and now you're restarting it. I don't understand this.
See, this is where my last comment on this was his bump on Durbin intentional or not? And I don't know. I tend to think it was. I really do. And now if he can't finish this thing off when everyone else has, he's got an issue. He's got a big-time issue, and it's almost right now the way everything that we talked about and the way everything was really handled by the players on this field today, it's too bad it's got to end like that, to be honest with you. I mean, he's not doing not only his brother, but truthfully, he's not doing his team any service by doing this either. Who's he protecting right now? Everyone's fine with what happened and how it took place, how it unfolded, and how it ended. So move on.
And Reese, when asked about it point blank, left it on the field, left it between the players. This is what makes players mad at other players. If you bring it to the press yourself, if you want to bring this conflict outside of the clubhouses, that's on you. This is why this team also is frustrated with a guy like Jesse Winker. There's things that I can't publicly report about what that whole conflict happened with the Mets last year, but I promise you, it ain't pretty. That's because it got outside of the clubhouses. This stuff shouldn't happen outside of the clubhouses. I can't believe Wilson's talking about this. Williams now going to have to talk to his brother about it. I'm over it with this guy, man. I made the comparison after you got off the air yesterday, Craig, that I compared him to Trae Young yesterday of just like, hey, you're a heck of a player, but some of the things you do just confuse me. He's beyond that now. He's Draymond Green. I can't do it, man. I can't do it anymore.
I love it. I love the comparisons. They're great. I heard you yesterday mention that as well. So, I don't know. I don't know why certain guys need to be who they are and what purpose is he serving right now? That's my question. Okay, you're going to be asked about this stuff, but what purpose are you serving at this point? I don't get it.
You can lead a horse to water, man, but then he can turn around and stick you a middle finger. I don't get it with this guy, man. I just don't get it. I'm sick of talking about it. I'm over it. Maybe we'll get more tomorrow. Happy Father's Day, everybody. Whoop-de-freaking-do. We got to talk offense, though, Craig. I'm going to keep you for one more segment. Mitch, I see you on the line. I'll get to you right after this break here on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
The leader in the dugout, the skipper, the man who riles up the crew with his words of inspiration.
You mean my old ass? Is that what you're saying?
Yep, that's our guy. Brewers manager Pat Murphy joins Wisconsin's Morning News every Tuesday at 8:45 for Brewers 360.
We're a team that the other team's going to feel us. You're not going to walk away from a series and not be felt. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Brewers 360 is sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited and Big Fish Contracting.
Two Wisconsin icons are teaming up on a reworked classic. Cousin Subs and U-Zingers are proud to introduce the all-new Fried Bologna Sub, featuring U-Zingers fried bologna, bacon, American cheese, onions, pickles, mayo, and mustard on fresh-baked Italian bread. And that's not all. Pair your fried bologna with a creamy cupcake shake topped with whipped cream and rainbow sprinkles. Now that's a better combination. Order both in-store, online, or via the mobile app. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Guthrie and Fry. I love Guthrie and Fry. I've got their water softener, the salt delivered right to the basement. Their RO system, which filters the water in our house. What we drink, what we cook with is crisp, clean, clear. It's Guthrie and Fry water conditionings, the best in the business. They also provide well pump system service, routine service, and emergency service for when you need it. They've been doing that since 1974. At Guthrie and Fry, they know that better water makes a big difference. The teams I trust are at Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning.
An unsuspecting driver at a gas station in Wisconsin.
Welcome, Pump 15. How you doing?
Great.
Were you wearing your seatbelt today?
I never wear my seatbelt.
We're going to get him. We're going to get him real good.
Oh, my goodness.
Hello, sir. How you doing? Donald Driver. It takes 1 second to strap a seatbelt on. Well, let's do this. Let's do it together. Now, don't that feel better?
Donald Driver can't always be there to remind you.
Click it or ticket.
and let's reduce fatalities on Wisconsin roadways.
And I should have recognized your voice when you're harassing.
I'm watching you.
Sponsored by Wisconsin DOT.
Get started with your no-hassle refi checkup by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Brewers fall by an 8-5 final. Since 1912, Cider's been your go-to for home comfort. And through the end of June, you could take $10 off your AC tune-up. Call Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical or schedule online at Cider, SEIDER.com. Mitch from Milwaukee, you've been waiting patiently. You're live on Brewers Extra Innings with Craig Kashan and Dom Cotroneo.
Hey, thanks, Dom. A couple points I want to hit on. First and foremost, Dom, congrats to you and the wife-elect on the engagement. Very excited for you. Very happy. Great to hear. Second point, nothing new. I mean, we had 3 through 6 not get any hits besides William Contreras' homer at the end of the game. That's got to be better, especially later in the game, and can chalk that up to Jackson Chourio. I know he had a couple hits there as well, too, but bases loaded. Got to get a hit there. And then the third piece on that, outside of, hey, we need the guys that are supposed to hit and that are getting paid to hit with guys on and get interdivision games like this against the Cardinals. But the third piece is kind of with Quintana. I'm looking at this trade deadline. We're loaded with starting pitchers. I feel like Tobias Myers and Nestor Cortez are the most likely to get moved. I don't necessarily love that we may trade Tobias Myers, but I can understand it. And I could just wanted to throw in the conversation, would it be something that the Brewers may consider offering and putting Jose Quintana on the market in terms of him just maybe we could get more from a contender and really sell high on that with Quintana with a lot of depth from the starting pitching. Obviously, Jake Bauers may be another potential name. I love the way that he's been hitting, though, so it's tough to say, like, hey, let's trade Jake, especially with Andrew Vaughn. Don't want to bank on anything with him.
I got you, Mitch,
a lot of question marks on there. Just wanted to put that out there. Again, like, main thing, though, 3 through 6, have to get some more hits with guys on base. And, again, congrats to you, Dom. Don't get to call in too much, so I just wanted to say congrats and love what you're doing, and let's go Brewers.
Thank you, Mitch. Appreciate it. On the trade front, though, Craig, I think you can agree with me on this. The Brewers' philosophy has always been trade from positions of depth. We've seen them trade from, young minor league prospects like Yoferi Rodriguez this year, going to the Red Sox in the Quinn Priester deal, or now they suddenly have starting pitching. Now, granted, guys like Quintana, they need to perform better for somebody to be desirable to them. Nestor needs to get healthy for somebody to be desirable to them, too. So we can sit here and say, oh, yeah, they could be traded, but in the blink of an eye, your depth is tested, and all of a sudden you think about the future. But, yes, Matt Arnold's got a hard job ahead of him of trying to add offense to this team because Sal Frelick can't hit every time. Sal Frelick is leading the National League outfielders in batting average right now. He's flirting with 300. It can't just be him.
No, and look, Christian Yelich and Rhys Hoskins are kind of in funks here right now. I mean, Christian Yelich, we keep talking about his numbers over the last month or whatever it's been, but he had a really hot stretch where it's like he couldn't even no one could get him out. He had a tough night at the plate today. Rhys has had some tough nights lately as well. So they definitely have to hit. They can't be. There's got to be more consistency somehow. I know that's a cliche. I know that's something that we just, wear out that evaluation of some of these guys. But it also doesn't help, that they just don't have, some of these young guys that are able to produce, that much at all here right now. I mean, that's just kind of a fact right now. They're still finding their way, and we'll see how long this leash is going to go on a guy like Jory Ortiz before the trade deadline too, before they may decide to upgrade there. Maybe they're going to upgrade at third. Who knows? But they have room to do a lot of upgrading. Let's just say that. And I think that might be what it takes, in my opinion, to get more consistency from some of these star guys that are at the top of the order here right now. I mean, things are just too lopsided in this lineup. And then when you try to feather in, putting like Bryce Terang down on a number 7 hole right now, I'm not sure that does him much good when, Yelich, Hoskins, and Collins kind of come up completely empty with all their at-bats tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it starts with Yelich. I think when you think about trying to add a bat and what can the Brewers do to add a bat, it's like, well, you need some of your middle bats to play better too, and they know this because if you add a bat and hit them 7th, right? Well, if Yelich goes 0 for 5 again, it's just like, well, what was the point of adding a bat? So with Yelly, I mean, he had an opportunity in the first with a man on third, didn't score. And I'm not trying to just pick on Yelly, right? Like William was cold and quiet until the home run in the 9th inning too, but just opportunities missed added up today on Yelich's card in particular, right? He was at the plate when Churio scored on the pass ball because then Yelly ultimately struck out in that frame, but then had 2 on in the 5th inning, one on in the 5th inning, couldn't advance the runner, had 2 on in the 7th inning, couldn't get anybody home. So it's just like, you look right in the middle of this order, Contreras, Hoskins, and Yelich combining today to go 1 for 14 or 1 for 13, with the one being a solo homer down by 4 in the 9th inning. As we've said over and over again, it just ain't going to cut it.
No, it's not. Runners left in scoring position with 2 out is who's going to be clutch. There were 5 left on base here today. That's a lot when you're battling and the game is still close. Yes, it was, you had to climb out of a big hole today, but you had some opportunities to make the comeback. And unfortunately that didn't happen here tonight. And runners in scoring position just overall, just 2 hits and 12 attempts. That's not going to win you a game. And it's certainly not going to bring you back out of a 7-1 hole.
Yeah, that's the whole story of the game. Well, Craig, we will have a very happy Father's Day with you tomorrow, hopefully talking about a series victory over the Cardinals. Happy Father's Day to you and yours, and let's go win this series and wrap up this homestand with a good old bow on it, shall we?
That would be a great Father's Day gift, Dom.
All right, Craig Kishon here on 620 WTMJ. We'll hear from Pat Murphy in just a moment as well. Brewers Extra Innings rolls on after this on 620 WTMJ.
Looking for localized banking solutions and a strategic partner? Fifth Third Bank has been shaping the future for businesses for 167 years and for the last 15 right here in Milwaukee. We offer industry-specific expertise, local decision-making, and extensive experience to help you navigate the ever-changing business landscape with your business in mind. At Fifth Third, we're big enough to provide sophisticated solutions and expert guidance, yet empowered to make local decisions and build strong community connections. Experience the commercial banking value only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
Slide into your neighborhood Century Food Store to score the freshest produce, tastiest treats, and everything in between. Now through Wednesday, save on 24-pack Essential Everyday Purified Water, 2 for $6. 7 to 16-ounce selected varieties Barilla Pasta or Ready Pasta, 2 for $3. 6-count selected varieties Klondike Bars, 2 for $8. 12-ounce selected varieties Hell of a Good Dips, 2 for $3.
Let's get some strawberries.
Attention shoppers. Safe.
Okay. Ooh, pineapple fulfills every need.
While you're shopping, a drive way back, it's a goner.
There's something goofy going on with the PA.
Need a price check and I'll take me out to the ball game.
See, what is going on?
You're hearing things. We're at Century Foods, and you can't take your mind off winning that ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or Sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1-day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Kandula. Outside of Advent's 4 walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
Hi, I'm Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited, reminding you to double-check your home. Siding Unlimited is the proven exteriors professionals for 31 years. Family-owned and locally operated right here in Wisconsin. Call Siding Unlimited and visit sidingunlimited.com.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Coming out of the loss today, 8-5. I'm just catching up on what all of the beat writers are doing. My thanks to all of them. Subscribe to your newspapers, y'all. St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Derek Gould does great work. Hall of Famer, if you ask me. Then, John Denton's been doing it for a very long time as well in St. Louis market. Obviously, we've got Todd Rosiak, Kurt Hogue, Adam McCalvy. McCalvy's off today, but, you look at it, it's just weird to have all of this conflict from Wilson and this animosity from Wilson, like he's the victim. I'm just reading through these quotes, and I'm just like, what? Anyway, maybe we'll find out more tomorrow as to what the heck happened. A few texts that have rolled in here, 855-616-1620. This one from Doug. Brewers have got to start winning these slugfests. The pitching can't do it every game. Tomorrow's the big one. Need the split of the homestand before the Cubs. Right, tomorrow with the series win over these Cardinals, which is something we asked for on Wednesday night in Brewers Weekly. That, look, if you want to consider yourself a real contender, you have got to have a 500 or better homestand, and you got to have a series win against the Cardinals, given you didn't win the series in either one that were winnable against the Padres and the Braves. So tomorrow is a big one, a win, and it's a 5-5 homestand and a 3-1 series against the Cardinals, and then you go into the off day Monday and then hop on the bus down to Chicago to take on the Cubs, hopefully with a little bit of momentum. Whereas you lose tomorrow, it's a 4-6 homestand against three teams that are in this hunt, and you have kept two of them in the hunt with the Braves and the Cardinals. So get the win tomorrow. It'll be Quinn Priester on the mound for the Crew. This text from the 414, Sal can't hit every at-bat. He's the only guy driving in any RBIs when men are on base regularly. Jackson can do it at times in reality, too. The rest of the team just isn't doing anything when there's men on base. And then he needs somebody or some other people, not just that one guy that can hit. And that's what was unfortunate about the 8th inning for the Brewers today. They load the bases with one out and get to the top of the order against Maton. And Frelick, he would trade in both of his hits today for a hit in that situation. I guarantee you that. The fact that he went 2 for 4 is a great day at the office, but striking out in the biggest moment of the game is not on his scouting report, not something he wants to have there. And then Churio striking out as well. Again, to borrow a phrase from Pat Murphy, you got to meet the game halfway. Phil Maton has not allowed a home run all season. And with respect to Jackson, he swings full every swing. Okay, this is what he does. That's part of his game. You don't want to change his game. But at the same time, you got to understand why this guy has not allowed a home run this year. Breaking balls, mixing, deception, that sort of thing. You've got opposite field pop, dude. If you run into one, you run into one. In fact, you ran into one last year against Maton going to the opposite field. I just didn't see the same approach from Chura today. But again, hitting is hard. It looks so easy from the cheap seats up here. I'm not trying to say that, I could do that. No, absolutely not. Churio struck out against an elite pitcher. Same with Frelick. He chased a pitch high and outside, which is not his MO, which is what I'm saying is those two at-bats didn't meet the game halfway. Frelick doesn't chase. Frelick doesn't swing and miss, and he was trying to stop himself from that cutter away, guessing it was a slider. He was wrong. He strikes out. And Churio got ahead of the count 2-1, took a strike. It was a good pitch, ultimately K's on a big curveball from Maton. So that was the moment of the game when the Brewers lost it. They had bases loaded, one out, and failed to get contact, which has been their calling card all year. They're a team that puts the ball in play, and they've been striking out at a higher rate than usual lately, which is something we will continue to monitor for the rest of this series. So tomorrow, 1 o'clock Father's Day first pitch. We're on the air at noon. We're still going to hear from Pat Murphy in this show. This show's not over, but just keeping you in the loop because we will also have a post-game show tomorrow for Brewers Extra Innings, reacting to all of it on this Father's Day. Hey, 40,000 are here at the ballpark today. Hopefully 40,000 more come out tomorrow for what should be a very fun ball game here at American Family Field. Talk about some underrated heroes from this one as well. We'll also hear from Pat Murphy. We got to talk a little bit about the underrated plays of this game. That's up next here on 620 WTMJ.
Trust in your family's comfort at home with Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. They're the oldest family-owned HVAC company in southeast Wisconsin. 4 generations of Ciders, and their highly trained technicians provide a one-stop shop for all home and business comfort needs, including an emergency service line that's always live and a 12-year parts and labor warranty on all Daikin products. Get peace of mind by scheduling maintenance today with Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. That's SEIDER, cider.com.
So it's about time you spruce up your home. Nothing major. You're not looking to spend a ton, but you are looking for something that'll give your quarters a little upgrade. There are a lot of things you can do with glass. Simply beveling your mirrors can do wonders. You could mill out your wood cabinet doors and replace the center with attractive glass inserts, or customize them with unique handcrafted artistry, or maybe a theme. You could even install a new glass shower door and add some real appeal to your bathroom. They're all pretty affordable home improvements, and Les's Glass Service has been helping homeowners like you for just about longer than anyone in town. You probably don't realize how affordably we can help you reach your home's full potential, but we do, and we can show you countless options. So if it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Les's Glass. Les's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lesglassservice.com.
Why settle for just the job when you could have a career in the exciting automobile industry? The Auto Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee new car dealer members have service, technician, sales, administrative, and management positions available now. The first word in career is car, and one of the best places to find a great career opportunity is at an Adam new car dealer.
For current great paying job opportunities, visit adam.jobs. That's ADAMM.jobs.
Adair Floors has the newest flooring styles. Luxury vinyl flooring in plank and tile looks. Or choose from carpeting, hardwood, and porcelain tile. Flooring for every room in your home. Get personal care from Adair. Adair Floors and Remodeling, South 27th Street in Franklin.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They treated me like family.
They're actually people that you can depend on.
They made me feel seen. They really treated me like I was a part of their family, a part of their team.
They ask how you're doing, how you're feeling.
They're just so welcoming and so sweet and kind.
It's like family, caring about another member of the family.
If you've been injured, it costs you nothing to see if Gruber Law Offices can help.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Brewers fall 8-5 with some extracurriculars involved. I'm just sick of talking about it. Anyway, player of the game is tough in a loss, but it should probably be DL Hall, given he kept the Brewers in this contest for his 2 innings of relief, despite having a base runner in the 7th. I mean, otherwise, faced 7 batters, retired 6 of them, did his job, kept the Brewers in this contest to make sure it wasn't going to get bigger than the 7-1 deficit that they were facing. And the player of the game could have been Sal Frelick, but we just gave him one the other day. So it's brought to you by International Autos Group. Just like our MVP, you can drive into summer in style. You can save up to $10,000 on in-stock BMWs, Audis, Mercedes-Benz, and more. No tariffs, just huge savings. Visit IA Milwaukee International Autos, IAMilwaukee.com. International Autos Group, where ordinary needs to be extraordinary. The Brewers fall today by the 8-5 score. The manager, Pat Murphy, was asked about those extracurriculars with Wilson and Durbin and Reese and whatever all that had to be. The point is that it's over with. The players handled it themselves, and Murph offered some comments on why he thinks this seems to have boiled over today.
Oh, it's Cardinals. It's Cardinals Brewers, man. There's always going to be high emotion. The players handle that stuff, like that's the way it goes. We're not looking to fight. That's not our thing. But we're not going to be, pushed around either too much.
Did you guys as a dugout have any problem with the play at first with Contreras and Durbin?
I didn't see it. Guys were talking about it, I guess, but I'm not sure. Quintana's a veteran. I don't know how many years. How many years have been pitching in the big leagues? 12?
14.
14 years in the big leagues pitching. He's a pro, I trust him, Didn't have his best stuff today, isn't on it last couple outings. But we made a huge error. That's a 3-run error, and changes a lot of things, but he'd be the first to tell you he didn't have his great stuff today and didn't have his location. But, guys hung in there and they battled and they put themselves in position. I wouldn't have wanted different guys up at the plate. We made a nice run. We just didn't get the big hit. And you got to credit the Cardinals reliever, the kid in the eighth. I mean, he made great pitches when he had to. You got to credit him.
Murph, since Quintana came back, have you seen a little less sharpness and stuff?
Yeah, for sure. Hasn't been as sharp. Hasn't located the ball the way he needs to. And
what did you see offensively? Just like you said, didn't get the big hit, but you had.
Yeah, we did. We had a lot of guys on base. The middle of the order, 3 through 6 didn't have their best day. But again, it was tough to see, like it is with a guy with that kind of stuff. It's a little easier to see if the guy's throwing 88 to 90, but guys throwing 95, 96 with great movement. It's tough to see, but, there's some guys with some great games, guys with some put together great games. The guys at the bottom, Ortiz is swinging the bat good. Durbin and Terang had great games, and Frelick and Churio had great games. So, you look at those guys. Those 5 guys were doing their thing. It's just unfortunate. Again, we didn't capitalize. We put ourselves down 7-1, put ourselves back in the game.
Murph, you've talked about the infielders reading that high chopper before. I think the Bryce play in San Francisco is when he talked about it. But on Durbin's error, did you want him to come in on that ball? Yeah, I mean, it looked like he started in and then backed up to get it for sure and went to second instead of coming in, touching third and going across. Either way, that first and second error it's a 3-run error when you don't record the out, much less 2, and then you throw it away, the run does score, and you got guys in second and third, nobody out. So, and Quintana did all he could to get us in a position to get out of that, but then they got a big hit at a big time. Did you guys feel like Reese was hit on purpose?
No, I don't think anybody today was getting hit on purpose. And if they do that kind of stuff, Kurt, that's player stuff. They work their own stuff out. You know what I mean? And I think that's the health of the game is that, the health of the game is that you let players, especially veterans like that, handle what they handle. You know what I mean? And react and do that kind of stuff the way they do. There's going to be tempers in games. That's all part of it. You know what I mean? We just want to make sure everybody's safe and if we feel like somebody's throwing at us on purpose, the umpires will take care of it.
It just makes me a little more frustrated to hear that from Murph. Players handle it. Players handle it. They keep it together. We told you how Reese was keeping it coy, was keeping what was said on the field between the guys. And then Wilson's quotes just bringing a flamethrower to a tea party. Whoa, what's up with this escalation, man? So I mean, honestly, I bet Reese was going to get the day off tomorrow, and he probably still will because he needs a day. He has not been seeing the ball well as of late. Another over for him today, and then you're going to get ahead of it now. Wilson's going to be like, oh, wow, you're dodging me, huh? Wow, what's going on? No, the dude's been playing a ton. He's been in a slump, and he's trying to defend his team right now, and then you go and act like that to the media. It's like, if you're going to complain about being a tough guy, if you're going to complain about the other guy being a bleeping bleep, and you can put 2 words together, and then, not do anything, it's like the whole, well, who shot first? Star Wars. Who shot first? Well, you kind of had the opportunity as well, man. I'm just sick of this. I'm sick of this. This is stuff that should be handled internally, not for idiots like me in the media to have to break down what you're trying to say. And this is where, in that Cardinals clubhouse right now, they're caught in a conflict. Because Nolan Arenado is the veteran leader of that team. Wilson's obviously getting paid well. Pitchers are tough to be captains of the team, like a guy like Sonny Gray. But now, Nolan Arenado is going to be in the crosshairs along with Wilson. And it's just this is where the veteran leadership would step in and say, hey, You don't say something like this to the media, but then Wilson's a veteran himself. He knows what he's saying. He knows what he's doing. He wants to get under your skin. That's part of his game plan. All right, tip your cap. Somebody's got to be the heel, I guess, as that's what he has done today. All of that to say, though, the Brewers' offense was not good enough. It's the reason why they lost. And quite frankly, tomorrow's going to feel like a playoff game in June. You need to get a win against the Cardinals. We're going to preview that. We're going to look at the out-of-town scoreboard. The Brewers trying to get some good mojo going heading into a very important road trip. We'll give you kind of a look into the crystal ball because we're a month away from the All-Star break. This final month before that break can really decide what you're going to be made of this season, and if you have illusions of grandeur heading into the chance to play into October. You know, every game matters, and tomorrow's going to be one of those first ones that you really circle and be like, this really matters. Try to get a win tomorrow with Quinn Priester on the mound. We'll preview that coming up next as we get ready to say goodbye after this on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
Hey everyone, it's Julia Fallow with Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
And it's Brandon Snide, the producer of the program.
Hey, Summerfest is almost here.
The music, the food, all the things that make Summerfest great, and we're going to send you
to all 9 days.
It's Summerfest on us.
Keep it tuned to WTMJ for your chance to win tickets every single day of Summerfest.
We'll have your opportunity on our show, Wisconsin's Afternoon News, to go to Summerfest on us.
Happy Summerfest from all of us on WTMJ.
It's not summer in Milwaukee without baseball and live music. Get the best of both when the Brewers take on the Rockies, featuring a post-game concert by Nelly June 27th and a Pat Murphy bobble on the 28th. Get your tickets at Brewers.com.
Baseball is back. Brian Balaga here to bring you a proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. A delicious and perfect pairing for a day at the ballpark. Stocked at American Family Field all season long. Surfside is only 100 calories per serving, and the best part, 0 bubbles. Ask for it at your local bar or liquor store. Surfside, an official partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Must be 21 years of age. Please drink responsibly.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
You'll find that the licensed and certified electricians from Quality are top-notch. We've been around for over 60 years, so expect nothing but the best. And here's the kicker. With over 60 vehicles out there on the roads, you're not going to have to wait very long at all for the electrical service you need now. This is Anthony Zanevsky. For all your residential electrical needs, call Quality.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Over 60 years in business, with over 60 vehicles out in the field so we can respond ultra quickly to your emergency AC needs. When you call Quality for emergency AC service, you can count on a swift response to get the job done right away. So if the heat's got you to the point where it's just too hot to handle, call Quality and we'll get you the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Brewers Extra Innings is brought to you in part by Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka, Surfside Lemonade and Vodka, paired perfectly with a day at the ballpark in Stockton American Family Field all season long. The Brewers fall today by a final of 8-5. We've got plenty of time here to wrap up this program and land the plane. Tomorrow, the Brewers will hand the ball to Quinn Priester. Now, Quinn has been really good as of late. 110 first pitch. He's got a 4-2 record now in the big leagues, a 3.65 ERA. But when you dive a little bit deeper into his stuff, since that clunker against the Cubs back on May 2nd when he came into the game trailing after the opener gambit failed with Tyler Alexander, since that start, he has been fantastic. He has appeared in 7 games, 4 of them as the bulk man behind opener in DL Hall. In total, he has thrown 38 innings over these last 7 games, so that's averaging just past 5 innings per. Furthermore, only a 209 opponent batting average, a 102 whip, 26 strikeouts in those 30 innings. He is not a strikeout guy and only 10 walks, a 235 earned run average against. He has not allowed more than 3 earned runs in any of those starts, and it was just in 1 of those games. And against some quality opponents. First place Astros, playoff position Guardians, playoff position Phillies. Reds been playing well. Playoff team that had aspirations anyway in the Braves. I think he's been really, really fun to watch, and he's coming off of maybe his best one. 6 strong innings as a starter against the Braves. Only allowed 1 run, no walks, 7 strikeouts. He'll be going up against Miles Michaelis. And Michaelis, Brewers have seen plenty of him over the years. He's 4-3, a 4.48 ERA. Michaelis coming off, though, one of his worst outings of the year. 6 earned runs in 5 innings against the Blue Jays. He does not get a lot of swing and miss, just 38 strikeouts in his 66 innings pitched this year. And he's not even a ground ball guy either. Only 4 grounded into double plays behind him this season. The Brewers have not seen Michaelis this year. They did not see him at the end of April when the Brewers first faced the Redbirds earlier this year, but they have seen him plenty over the season. So again, that game starts at 1:10 tomorrow. We're on the air at noon with Brewers warm-up, and then the on-deck show Built by Menards will happen after the on-deck or the warm-up concludes at the bottom of the hour. So the Brewers' upcoming schedule here, as we look ahead to the rest of the until the All-Star break, exactly 1 month away from the All-Star break. We've mentioned the Cubs series and the Twins series, plenty coming up next. But what about after that, right? The Brewers get to have a breather after that. They get the Pirates coming to town to 3, and maybe Skeens will start one of those games. And then you get the Rockies at home for 3. And granted, the Brewers only won 2 out of 3 in Denver earlier in April. You got to find a way to sweep that series this time, and it's hard to do. Then the Brewers go back on the road for a tough road trip. They go to the Mets, all 3 night games. That means travel day on the night game down to Miami. It's always a late arrival, probably getting in at, 3 a.m., 4 a.m. or whatever. And then you get Miami. And I know what you're thinking, Dom, Miami's not that good. Well, they got young players who don't know any better. And furthermore, Miami can be a really tough place to play because, like we always call it, create your own energy, like we see in Pittsburgh. Not many people go to those games. Those become, to borrow a football term, a trap series. Then when we're done with Miami, you come right back home for the Dodgers. So buckle up there. And Dave Roberts has hinted that Shohei Ohtani could be pitching before the All-Star break. He's been throwing bullpens. He was north of 40 pitches in his last live AB. And because they need his bat in the lineup, they would be opposed to sending him on a minor league rehab and continue to build him up with these live ABs and then potentially just understand that it could be a shorter start with Shohei if he returns and then just do the opener behind that as opposed to having to continue cycle in all of these arms and relievers and that sort of thing. So I'm just monitoring. If you haven't got your tickets yet for July 7th through 9th, and this is pure speculation, but there is a chance, you heard it here first, that Shohei Ohtani could be pitching one of those games against the Brewers. That's in a little less than a month's time. If he's already north of 40 pitches now, he last threw in San Diego earlier this week. He'll probably throw again next week in Los Angeles, probably try to get north of 50 to 60, somewhere there. And then maybe one more outing where he gets full ups, or maybe they do send him to Oklahoma City for a 4-inning outing to go through the routine. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Dodgers try to put him back into the rotation. And then finally, the first half ends with the Nationals at home. So if you want to, go into the crystal ball here and try to figure out what you got to do, let's start with a win tomorrow. Okay, win tomorrow, win the series, feel better. Let's go with an optimistic outlook. The Brewers somehow take the series from the Cubs. They win some tight contests. They pitch well. The offense wakes up. The wind was blowing out. Whatever it is. Let's say they win the series against the Cubs. They gain a game, and say they win tomorrow, right? So they'd gain a game. They'd still be 4.5 back, 4 back, whatever they ultimately are, depending on what happens with the rest of the weekend, given they're playing the Twins. Granted, the Twins are in a spot right now where they could be vulnerable without Pablo Lopez. Royce Lewis got hurt again. They've come back down to earth since that 13-game winning streak. But let's say you lose that series, okay? So let's say it's a 500 road trip, however it happens, right? You win one, you lose one. That'd be, no matter how you shake it, the Brewers would be happy with that. Then you come home. Let's say you go 2-1 against the Pirates and 3-0 against the Rockies. You're in this, right? You're still above 500. You're not losing ground. And at that point, you look at the last month of games, the Brewers will be 10 games over 500 for their last month of games at that point. Then you get the tough task of the Mets, who've been playing great baseball. Just don't get swept in that series and then win the series against the Marlins. As we've always said, if you're 500 on the road, you're doing something right in Major League Baseball. Then you come home for the Dodgers, find out what you're made of real quick with that tough litmus test, and then you get the Nats, who don't really have a bullpen right now, but they're a team that they can hit. And James Wood looks like a superstar in the making. Mackenzie Gore still leads baseball in strikeouts. So just to look ahead for this final month before the All-Star break, there's a mixture of both. You get difficulty with the Cubs and the Mets and the Dodgers, and the mix of the bottom feeders like the Rockies and the Pirates and the Nationals and the Marlins, that you got to make sure you take advantage of those teams and see what kind of momentum you can generate against the great teams. That's just your look ahead of what could happen for the Brewers in these next 4 weeks. Out-of-town scoreboard, the Cubs, they won today 2-1 over the Pirates. Low-scoring game. Wind must have been blowing in this one. Matthew Boyd went strong in it. Only 6 hits for the Cubs in that contest. Elsewhere in the division, the Reds beat up on the Tigers today. That one was a big win for Cincinnati, 11-1. In the very end, Jake Rogers had to pitch in that game. The catcher, Ellie De La Cruz, hit a home run off Jack Flaherty. Tyler Stevenson hit a grand slam. Spencer Steer also added a home run, as well as Matt McClain. So pretty busy day in the Central. Otherwise, elsewhere, games in action right now. Yankees-Red Sox game is 3-0 Boston. That game's in Fenway in the 6th. Arizona's come back to take the lead 3-1 on the Padres in the Deserts. Also today, the Astros beat the Twins 3-2. The Astros have been playing better ball since they left town. And the Braves beat the Rockies again. Poor Rockies. They only got 13 wins. That's going to do it for our program here today. Our producer has been Nate Rilling. Back on the air at noon tomorrow for Father's Day. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Until then, keep on swinging.
Attention, car buyers. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, buy it now from the International Autos Group and save thousands. Current in-stock vehicles are unaffected by tariffs. Drive into summer in a beautiful new BMW, Audi, Mercedes-Benz, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, or Hyundai and avoid upcoming tariffs. Buy now and save up to $10,000. The International Autos Group, where our ordinary needs to be extraordinary. Visit